Donald Trump be the next New York State governor? According to the New York Post, state Republicans are trying to get the celebrity billionaire to run for New York's top spot. Joining us now to talk more about it is our political analyst and the author of that article, New York Post state editor Fred Dicker. And Fred, you have said all along it was going to take that big name coming out of the blue to have a chance against Andrew Cuomo. And the question is that big name coming out of the blue actually going to do it?
Well, the Republicans should be so lucky to have Donald Trump do something like this. I don't think he's going to do it. Interestingly enough, though, Liz, I spoke with him, and he was on national TV just a few minutes ago being asked about this. And in neither case did he rule it out. He, I think, enjoys the attention that he's getting from it. And the Republicans would be lucky if he would do it for the reasons you mentioned. He's an extraordinary national figure, whether you like him or hate him. People know who he is. He's accomplished a great deal. He has a lot of money. But I don't think there's any question that he really is eyeing the presidency in 2016. Now, the Republicans are trying to argue, well, if you become governor first, then you could run for president 2 years later if he could defeat Andrew Cuomo next year. I think he could defeat Andrew Cuomo. It would be a difficult race, but I don't think in the end he's going to do it. I think he's going to keep focusing on the presidential race, but the Republicans very aggressively are trying to convince him to change his mind on that, or at least to make a decision to run.
Give us a little more of the backdrop on this whole thing, because obviously you've said many times that this is a party that is desperate to find
absolutely right.
a good candidate, and obviously this is on the surface, or for all the reasons you mentioned, a good candidate.
Absolutely. Liz, in a memo that I quote in my column today, it was written by one of the prominent Republicans who's trying to recruit a candidate for governor, Bill Nojay from Rochester. He says flatly that only Donald Trump could win the election next year for the Republicans against Andrew Cuomo. And obviously, if Trump doesn't run, that means that Nojay is conceding they're going to lose. I mean, that is the general sense around. They need someone of extraordinary ability, extraordinary accomplishment. So the Republican Party implicitly, by trying to recruit Donald Trump, is admitting that they have virtually no chance against Andrew Cuomo next year.
And how valid is the argument that this might be a launch pad for him?
Well, I don't think somebody of Donald Trump's stature needs a launch pad like being governor of New York, frankly. So I don't think it's very valid. I think it's a kind of an academic argument or a rhetorical argument trying to convince Trump to do this. Let me note that when I contacted Trump on Friday, he did come back with a pretty scathing quote attacking Andrew Cuomo for lack of job development in New York, the loss of population in New York, for the failure to go ahead with natural gas drilling, fracking in the southern tier. And he even kind of gratuitously added a shot at Mario Cuomo, the governor's father, saying he was a terrible governor, too. I was surprised by the tone of Donald Trump's criticism of Andrew Cuomo.
Well, just let me just say, this is not a guy who shies away from publicity. He's probably going to milk this for all it's worth, Fred.
Well, I think he will. I'm not sure how much it's worth, but for a while anyway, he's given some hope to New York Republicans.
All right, we'll talk about it more, I'm sure. Thanks very much. Fred's on the radio live from the state capitol weekday mornings 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.